A wise man, Abraham Lincoln, said, if you'd spend 9 hours chopping a tree, he'd spend 6 hours sharpening his axe. In my case, I'm sharpening my hammer. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I decided we want to talk about carpentry. We need to be doing doors, we need to be doing furniture and many other exciting things. Welcome to another exciting episode of BizGuide 101. My name is Debohoma Fodi, and in studio I have Lerato Kubeka from Larun Designs. How are you, Lerato?
I'm very well, thanks, Debo. How are you doing?
No, good, thanks, man. Thank you for joining us in studio.
Thanks for having me.
I'm actually shocked. I came all geared up, prepared, and there you are looking all stylish. You know, I mean, do carpenters look like you do or they look like I do?
They look like both of us.
Maybe what is carpentry? Let's start there. Because to somebody might hear us throwing words, carpentry. Okay. They actually not know what that is.
Okay, carpentry is a skill set that one would have, but that incorporates a lot of woodwork. Okay. It incorporates a lot of working with wood, cutting, whether it's cutting wood, wood design, wood installation. It's not much of a wood manufacturing, but more of a wood design, wood installation, and wood work, wood end product wood sort of service.
So obviously, I'm bearing in mind, I think for such a business, one would need a skill.
Yes, they would. These days, you find a lot of the carpentry skills certificates, national certificates being offered at a lot of the FET colleges. Offer a certificate. It will essentially take you about 18 months to acquire a certificate in carpentry. And the certificate would essentially allow you or enable you to do carpentry design, carpentry work, which will mean you're drilling, you're gluing, and the whole scheme of work, whether you're doing a door, or doing a kitchen unit, or you're doing furniture, whatever you're doing, that skill set will be incorporated within that course. And this course would cost you about 11,200 at an FET college.
Okay. Then from there, now I've gone to a FET, paid my 11,000. I've acquired the skills. Yes. Where do I start this business? Do I need to go rent out premises? What do I need to do?
Carpentry requires a lot of space.
So space is
important. For somebody who's starting out, I'd say your garage will do because you can't do it in the house because of the dirt and the dust that comes with carpentry. You would do it in a garage. If you have a garage, you will do it you create maybe an outside storage. If you don't have a garage in the house, like a little bit of a shack outside, but it's best done outside because over and above the carpentry work, there's also the painting section where you have to sometimes paint the work that you do depending on the client's requirements.
Okay, there's two things that you made mention of that I found very interesting. One, the issue of painting, the issue of design work, the issue of this and this.
Yes.
So now it covers the issue of labor.
Yes.
Can one person encompass all these skills, or do I need to get help? Do I need to employ people to help me with that?
As a main carpenter, you need an assistant that can work with you on a full-time basis. You might need to employ or get skills, when you have projects. You might have to add on people as and when you need them because maybe you're just keeping your overheads a bit low and not having people full-time. If you're doing a kitchen unit, for instance, you will be the cutter and you need somebody who will help you with the gluing. You will be doing an installation, you need somebody who will help you carrying the wood or carrying the door, who will help you support the doors, who will help you. If you're holding a hammer, you need a drill, somebody can hand you the drill because you can't move from the door because you need to use a hammer, or you need to get a nail, you need to get a smaller nail or bigger nail, whatever the case is. Okay. So you do actually need an assistant for that.
So this person, how much do I pay him a week? Do I pay him a month? Do I pay him per project? And how do they rate?
You would pay him, it depends. It's usually on a fortnight basis. An assistant ranges between 3,000 and 5,000 a month these days.
Okay.
It depends what the arrangement is, whether they prefer to be paid weekly, on a fortnight, or monthly. That is the arrangement that you have with them. But that is essentially what the remuneration will be, between 3 and 5.
Okay. Then now, speaking of wood, wood is very expensive in terms of the startup cost.
Yes.
How much would you say one capital needs to have?
I would say from the top of my head, I would say 10,000 would start up a carpentry business.
Is that for the equipment? Is that for the wood?
That's for the equipment.
That's for the equipment.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, how you would go about doing that is that you would have your basic tools, you know, your jigsaw, your clamps, your drill, your hammer. That will be your basic tools that you will need.
Okay.
Now, when you obtain a business, for instance, somebody orders a chair from you, for instance, you'd ask them to pay a deposit. From the deposit, you will go then and acquire your materials.
Oh, okay.
And from the materials, you would buy your wood, depending on what the requirements are. But for the tools that I mentioned, that's usually it's not for solid wood.
Okay.
That you can't use much for, because you need a whole lot more robust tools to use for solid wood. So that would be for your chair board, your melamine type of woods, but not too much of solid woods. No, you know, your market as well will dictate as to which product offering you should focus on mainly. If you're focusing a lot on the new houses, you know, and you're focusing a lot on the new estate, your premises are next to a new estate and you're trying to target all those houses, you're looking at mainly, you know, their kitchen units, their bedroom cabinets, their bathroom cabinets as well, doors, you're looking at that type of thing, a little bit of maybe wooden flooring as well, you could do that as well. But if you're looking at a more established suburb, you can do their furniture renovation. You can focus a lot on their furniture renovation, their chair renovation, their couch renovation, their kitchen unit renovation, and that would require obviously different tools and a different marketing tool to be able to get in there. So it essentially depends on who your market is and where you are placed.
So for an entry-level business, where would you recommend they get their first business? Because you made mention of suburbs, new developments. Now you're speaking of renovations.
Yes. Yeah. For a new business, I would recommend that. I mean, word of mouth is still quite a big marketing tool. It's still the biggest. I'd also recommend social media, because that opens. But with social media, the interesting thing is that you need to have done a bit of work, so that you can showcase the work on pictures. People are more visual on social media, so you need to have done some work. You take the pictures, put them on social media, over and above the referrals that you get from your clients. If you work within an estate, I would recommend that you have a banner, you know, to say this company is doing carpentry in this house. Everybody passing that house, going to their own homes, can see this carpentry has been done by Leroon, for instance. And that's one way of making sure that the people within the estate will go back to that house and say, we saw your carpentry is done by Leroon, can we have Leroon's number from that neighbor?
Because I was actually going to get to the issue of marketing, but you started touching on social media and all of the exciting stuff. You spoke of a banner. How much would a banner cost?
A banner would cost you, I mean, depending on the size, but I think about 800 can get a good size banner that you can take with every afternoon when you're done with work.
Okay.
You can take that banner off with you. Or you can have a solid banner, you know, that you can keep on site from the time that you have an agreement with the client. The client could be at a foundation phase. You keep your banner there. It will be a steel banner. It will be about 1.5 to 2,000 rand. You have a steel banner that will sit there with every other constructor's banner on site. From the time you start they start the project of building that, whether or not you're already in the house is irrelevant. From the time you have an agreement with the homeowner to the time you are done and they move into the house, you can have your banner there, meaning everybody passing that house.
Yeah, no, I'm the numbers man. so I'm busy doing the numbers. You need skills for such. I mean, in terms of skills, you can go to FET colleges and do an 18-month course that costs about 11,200. So that's a factor that's very important. Getting the skills that you require for that. If ever, obviously, unfortunately, you don't have an opportunity to go to school or even afford that, you go work with somebody like her. that's already in the industry so that you can do what we call training. What is it called?
Skills transfer.
Skills transfer. Yes, it's skills transfer or on-site training,
Yes.
where you actually do the practicality of this craft. And in terms of space, she made mention that this is one business that requires definitely a lot of space because there's a lot of factors that are revolving around this business, like dust, and other things, dust, painting, and this and this. And more than anything, we need help in terms of you need to get the assistants, somebody who can help with the gluing, who can giving you the nails, the hammers, everything that you need. If you need a tape measure, that's a person that will even help you carry the furniture. So people vary. You can you can decide whether you want to pay this person weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, but they can rate anything between 3,000 to 5,000 a month. So it's another cost that you need to put into factor. But now the downside about this is that if you don't have no work, then that person cannot be paid. So you can either change that and customize that to put that project base to say for every chair that you do, if ever we're charging this much, you get 20% or you get so much percentage out of that chair or that particular furniture. I think that's another creative way that you can go about getting assistance. In terms of equipment, she spoke about jigsaw, she spoke about hammers, tape, saws, and clamps, and a lot of other basic stuff that requires. With 10,000, you could have enough equipment to actually kickstart this business and get yourself going out there in terms of doing the work. Then by the time now you start moving on to hardwood, then obviously you'd need much more of industrial equipment that's able to handle the pressure. It means it's more of your, big saws and, your big hammers, not this little one that I have here. This one, it's not going to help when you come when you're doing kitchens now. Then another one, the interesting part about this business, in terms of wood, when you're now starting this business, it's interesting that you can actually charge someone, then they actually pay you a deposit upfront that you can actually go buy the wood or buy whatever material that you need to actually put up this furniture. So it's a plus on that one, that you don't need to stock up material and keep it in your garage or in your whatever that you don't even know whether you're gonna use or not. And in terms of the banner, I mean, she made mention of marketing yourselves in terms of social media, uploading pictures, word of mouth, and most especially having a banner within complexes. That is, if you're targeting new complexes or you're targeting townhouses. I mean, you can market yourself out there. You put up a banner. People will know that this is what you do. I mean, you can put up a picture or three there about what you've done in the past, so people are able to see the quality of that and probably, give you a call. And I mean, it doesn't cost much. It costs about 2,000. So for such a business, I mean, running off our figure, you need about 28,200 to start a business. So it's just under 30,000. I think it's quite manageable. It's something that you can do. It's unlike any other business that requires 100,000, that requires this, that requires that. The more work, obviously, you do, the more people you get, the more equipment you get. And I mean, the more you get to make money. Lerato, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much.
And it was very insightful. I think, our viewers are going to be learning so much. So thank you for tuning in to BizGuide 101 with myself, Teboho Mafodi. Catch us again next time for another exciting episode with another exciting business.